The U.S. State Department says Washington wants North Korea to completely get rid of its weapons of mass destruction, starting with a freeze in production. The stance comes just ahead of talks between the nuclear envoys of South Korea and the U.S. The State Department also says that last month's encounter between President Trump and Kimjongun at the DMZ should not be considered a summit, but more of an impromptu meeting. Ji-yeon with more.
The U.S. State Department has made it clear its goal is to seek a complete elimination of weapons of mass destruction in North Korea, beginning with a freeze on their production. Speaking at a press briefing on Tuesday, spokesperson Morgan Ortagus explained a nuclear freeze has never been the end goal of the Trump administration, and that U.S. President Donald Trump is committed to resolving the North Korean nuclear issue through diplomacy. She added a nuclear freeze is just the beginning of the process, signaling that the U.S. may be open to adopting a step-by-step approach to the North's nuclear dismantlement, starting with a freeze and ending with the complete scrapping of WMDs. Washington's previous stance has centered on the regime dismantling all of its nuclear and missile facilities before easing any sanctions. Her comments come after growing controversy following a New York Times report saying the U.S. could settle for a nuclear freeze in hopes they'll create a foundation for the next round of talks with Pyongyang.
I think the U.S. is trying to be flexible, kind of trying to postpone the big deal to the next level, and the first level, the thing should be on the small deal, which I think the focus will be on the nuclear freeze. Important point here, I think, is whether the U.S. would allow sanction relief to North Korea in exchange for the nuclear freeze of North Korea.
On the nature of the 50 or so minute meeting held between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un inside the Freedom House at the inter-Korean border village of Panmunjom late last month, Ortagus said the meeting should not be regarded as a summit between the two leaders, but an impromptu gathering. It's believed a third summit would take place if the bilateral working-level talks planned for this month go ahead and lead to progress. Kimjongun, Arirang News.